Chi-Chi's Celebration Sampler. You get a chimichanga, taco, enchilada, plus 7-piece dessert plate. At $7.99, it's worth celebrating.
Chi-Chi's a celebration of food.
Probably an employee spread the hepatitis virus.
Chi-Chi's was rated one of the top Mexican restaurants nationally.
Chi-Chi's recently filed for reorganization under Chapter 11 bankruptcy.
In the 1980s, Chi-Chi's was everywhere. Bright neon signs, sizzling fajitas, fried ice cream for dessert, and of course, giant margaritas. For millions of Americans, Chi-Chi's was their very first taste of Mexican food. But within just a few decades, this booming restaurant chain completely vanished from the United States. What the heck happened to Chi-Chi's? Today we are diving into the rise, the fall, and the shocking tragedy that brought down America's most famous Mexican restaurant chain. Our story begins in 1975 in Richfield, Minnesota. That's where former Green Bay Packers star Max McGee teamed up with his business partner Marno McDermott to create a new kind of dining experience. They called it Chi-Chi's, named after McGee's wife, who went by the nickname. The idea was simple: bring Mexican food to mainstream America, but in a way that was fun, approachable, and designed for families. And it worked. Most Americans had never heard of chimichangas or fried ice cream. Chi-Chi's turned those dishes into national sensations. The portions were huge, the drinks were bigger, and the atmosphere was lively. It was a party wrapped in tortilla, and people couldn't get enough. By the early 1980s, Chi-Chi's was exploding. The chain expanded rapidly across the country, with over 200 restaurants at its peak. They even opened locations overseas in places like Belgium and the Middle East. For many families, a night out at Chi-Chi's was a special event. You'd walk into bright decor, sombreros on the walls, sizzling platters of fajitas filling the air with smoke, and waiters carrying massive margaritas to the tables. But by the 1990s, the cracks were starting to show. Competition was heating up. Chains like Chili's and On the Border were serving fresher, trendier takes on Tex-Mex. Taco Bell was winning over the fast food crowd. And at the same time, more authentic Mexican restaurants were opening up, giving diners options that felt closer to the real thing. Chi-Chi's, meanwhile, struggled to keep up. Their food was heavy, cheesy, and increasingly seen as outdated. Worse, the company had expanded too quickly and taken on debt. The once booming chain was now closing locations and losing relevance. But what really sealed Chi-Chi's fate was tragedy. In 2003, at a Chi-Chi's in Pennsylvania, something happened that made national headlines. A shipment of contaminated green onions led to the largest hepatitis A outbreak in U.S. restaurant history. More than 650 people were sickened and 4 people died. The lawsuits were devastating. Chi-Chi's was already struggling, and this outbreak pushed them into bankruptcy. By 2004, every Chi-Chi's restaurant in the United States has shut its doors for good. For a chain that had once been America's Mexican restaurant, it was a shocking and heartbreaking end. But believe it or not, Chi-Chi's didn't disappear completely. The brand survived at overseas locations in countries like Belgium, Kuwait, and the United Arab Emirates. And here in the US, Chi-Chi's remains relevant in a different way. You can still find jars of Chi-Chi's salsa, tortillas, and dips on grocery store shelves today. So while the restaurants are gone, the name Chi-Chi's hasn't completely vanished from American kitchens. Chi-Chi's story is a classic rise and fall. From its explosive growth in the 1980s, to its struggles in the 1990s, and finally the tragic outbreak that ended it all. This is a reminder of how even the most popular brands can disappear in the blink of an eye. Do you remember going to Chi-Chi's? Did you ever try their chimichangas or fried ice cream? Or have you just always wondered, what the heck happened to Chi-Chi's? Drop your memories in the comments. I'd love to hear your stories. If you enjoy videos about the rise and fall of restaurants and retail icons, hit the like button, subscribe, and turn on notifications. We've got plenty more nostalgic stories coming your way soon on What the Heck Happened.